on godisageek.com. Today is the 3rd of September, and on tap for today's show, we have notes today. This is great. On today's show, Europeans won't get Gaikai for a bit. If you're a bollocks on Xbox 360, you have a second chance. And Sony are looking at an Oculus Rift thing. There's nothing. It's the blank sheet. I'm completely lying. Anyway, Newsround is a show where I tell you all about the day's news, the past 24 hours news really, and inform you in about 10 or 15 minutes through the magic of Google Hangouts. Did I introduce myself? I'm not too sure. This is only the second show. My name is Colm Ahern, and I suppose best to get cracking with the news, really, isn't it? So the first news story comes via GameSpot, as Minecraft has sold over 12 million copies on PC. Now, of course, this isn't, it's no secret that Minecraft is a very popular game. But as GameSpot reports, at $26.95 per copy, Minecraft on PC and Mac has now generated more than 323 loads of money. It's created tons and tons of cash, and I don't know. Minecraft is fine, but there's something about it that I just can't click with. I suppose I prefer designers to present a game to me rather than me make my own fun, but maybe that's just because I'm an unimaginative bastard. In other news, Infamous, of course, everyone's favorite superhero thing, in an interview with DualShockers TV, game director for Second Son, Nate Fox, kind of let it slip that there will be an Infamous on Vita. No, he didn't say outright that there was going to be an Infamous on Vita, but he was asked about Infamous, taking the series to, I suppose moving it from the home console space, and he said that we're not ready to talk about anything just yet, or when, and then kind of stumbled and then said, if there will be a Vita version. I think it would be a terrific progression for the series for it to kind of turn up on Vita, similar to, say, God of War. I think God of War is in a similar stance where it would benefit from not necessarily becoming a Vita game per se, but just making the jump to, like, I suppose with God of War you've seen Chains of Olympus and all that type of stuff. I think Infamous could do something similar, maybe some backstory for Cole McGrath and stuff. McGrath, by the way, his name isn't McGrath, his name is Cole McGrath. McGrath is an Irish name. I'm an Irish man. I think I know how to pronounce his name. In other news as well, if you have 7 other friends and you're planning on getting an Xbox One, you should be very happy, because Microsoft have added some details on the Xbox One controller, and as you can see here via Xbox.com, you can connect up to 8 wireless controllers at once to your console, and there's a 30-foot wireless array, 30 feet away from your television, with 7 other people. I ask you, who the 8 people? There's a reason why the multi-tap on PlayStation 2 wasn't that popular. I suppose PS3 could support 7 controllers, I believe, and there has been no real announcement on Sony's side with regards to how many controllers you'll be able to play with on PS4. So, we'll see. Maybe, do you like this news? Are you happy that you get to play with 7 other people? I know I won't, but that's because I'm a loner, and whenever people come into my domain, I say, back off. In other news as well, keeping it kind of Xbox focused, IGN are kind of running these Ask Me Anything style, kind of in the same vein as Reddit, and but they're Xbox focused, where IGN readers can kind of they can pose questions to Mark Whitten, who is one of the main proponents of the Xbox One. He was asked about the reputation system with Xbox Live, and obviously somebody who, I don't know, maybe they had a checkered past, I'm not too sure, but they asked Mark Whitten about whether how the reputation system will be set up with Xbox One, and Whitten said that any reputation scores for 360 that you currently have, or anyone has, won't be carried over to Xbox One. So, as I said at the beginning of the show, if you were in any way a complete bastard on Xbox 360, then I suppose you can gain some solace in the fact that now you get a second chance at life. You get a second chance at the world of Xbox Live. But why? Why? Like, you know, if you were a bollocks on Xbox 360, have you really changed that much? I know, maybe so. The Xbox 360 is a 7-year-old console. Maybe you got it when you were, I don't know, 15 or something, and maybe you were a bit more flamboyant with your language. You used a lot more expletives and derogatory terms to describe the people you were playing. And as you've grown up, you've decided to tone that language down. You want a second chance with Xbox One, and so well, you get one. So don't fuck it up. In other news, coming from PAX, there was a Gearbox panel, and this story comes courtesy of Kotaku, where there was a Gearbox panel at PAX Prime, and basically Gearbox announced that they are working on 2 brand new IPs for next-gen consoles. Randy Pitchford joked that, we'll announce Borderlands 3, but I suppose it's good to see that they're not just going to keep pumping out Borderlands titles, because even though Gearbox have gathered such a following because of Borderlands, their most recent game, for instance, Aliens Colonial Marines, like it hasn't been hit after hit, you know. Duke Nukem Forever. No, people would say 3D Realms and blah blah blah. That was very kind of wayward. I would be intrigued by a new IP from Gearbox, but I wouldn't go in kind of all guns blazing. I wouldn't do this internet meme type of just take my money kind of thing, because I don't think they have kind of they haven't earned my trust like a Rockstar or a Naughty Dog, where 9 times out of 10 you know you're going to get a quality title out of it. In one little quick story, maybe we might do a FIFA story every day. Wouldn't that be great? The best-selling games of 2013, this story comes by way of Metro. FIFA 13 is the best-selling game of this year. FIFA 13, I might add, came out last year. Now, this is all across Europe, and the most telling thing isn't the top 2 of FIFA 13 selling nearly 2 million and Black Ops 2 selling nearly 1.5. The most interesting is the fact that Tomb Raider, effectively a new IP, well, a reboot, I suppose, but Tomb Raider beat out the likes of The Last of Us and Bioshock Infinite, and of course Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 3 came out last year, though Far Cry 3 came out very late last year, so that gained a lot of traction from word of mouth. But it's interesting to see Tomb Raider up there, and encouraging because of all of the Square Enix chatter of them not being happy about the sales, because their sales forecast, it wasn't realistic. We want to sell 17 million. All right, Square Enix. Other news, PlayStation 4 related. In an interview with Edge, it was confirmed that Europe will not be getting Gaikai quite as quickly as North America. Apparently, the kind of provisional date for Gaikai streaming in North America is 2014, while the European audience will have to wait for an undetermined date. Terrific. Europe always getting just bad news and stuff. Why all the time? Other news, again, PlayStation related. Rayman Legends, as we stated yesterday, only recently out. Big fan of the Rayman reboot. Want to see that series do very well. However, this news, because it's just a bit discouraging, really. A couple of NeoGAF users took to the forum because the Vita version of Rayman Legends is out in North America. It has been delayed in Europe. But basically, 28 of the invasion levels, which are effectively speedruns in the game, they have been left out of the Vita version. Because you can see the LUMs here, the 18 out of 718 out of 615. The 615 here, that is the Vita version. It's a bit. Yeah, I suppose they're not leaving out full levels per se, but you're still missing out on content, sadly. And as time creeps up on us, the Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn came out. I don't know when it came out. I'll be brutally honest. I I don't care about Final Fantasy. I really don't. I'm sorry. I know you do. You love it, and that is your own prerogative. Fair play. Delighted for you. I don't. Just whatever. Final Fantasy 14. Square Enix have said that the free trial has been extended for 7 days, I believe. Yes, 7 days. Story by way of Polygon, because of all the server issues, which were an absolute farce. You know. And in our final story, I'll work on talking. I will get there in the end. Our final story, coming by way of Eurogamer, is that Sony are looking at their own kind of Oculus Rift thing. Ooh, interesting. Sources have told Eurogamer that the only game that is working with this kind of Oculus Rift type deal headset is Evolution Studios Drive Club, hashtag Drive Club. Silly. So yeah, so very little is known about it just yet. I suppose it hasn't been fully confirmed just yet, but it's looking like that if this story is true, we're looking at a 2014 release date. And as I look at the time, because I think that has brought this this round of news to an end. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Colm Ahern. You can follow me on Twitter at Colm_Ahern. You can follow God is a Geek on Twitter at God is a Geek. Like us on Facebook, like this video, subscribe to God is a Geek on YouTube, and do all of those social things that people do on the internet. It's great, isn't it? We can talk to each other, Google Hangouts, brilliant. So yeah, so thanks very much for watching. I've been Colm Ahern, and come back tomorrow again at 5 p.m. for another news round. You, my friend, have been beautiful.